decided to name my channel I Need Coffee because I literally need some coffee because I am tired. I am tired of everybody and their shit. And because I'm tired of everybody and their shit, that's the reason why I wanted to start this channel. I wanted to start it so I can help other people help themselves, because I realized if you knew better, you would do better. I was planning on making this my part 3 of my introduction video. I had intended on talking about DV and how that's impacted my life, and I wanted to discuss a little bit of the psychological elements that play into a situation like that. That kind of goes from both the person enduring and the person causing the issues. But Yah doesn't want me to talk about that. He wants me to talk about being alone. And I've honestly been wanting to make a video for about a week now. I've been postponing it because, as you can tell, I am still slowly recovering from being sick. My voice has not yet fully come back. Yeah, I'm almost to the point where I've just accepted the fact that I'm just going to sound like a lady of the night in this raspy ass voice for probably the rest of eternity. So, clearly someone or something doesn't want me to say very much. And you know what? Like, I've gone every day thinking that I really don't say anything because I literally don't have anything to say to anybody. I don't talk to anybody, but clearly I do talk enough to the point where I'm prolonging this illness that's impacting my vocal cords, all right? But anyways, I digress. But anyways, I think it would be wise to talk about being alone, because it's something that every person should experience at least once, right? And I personally avoided being alone for a long time. I avoided working on myself and my trauma, and I tried to run away from it. And I'm here to tell you that no matter how long you run and avoid, there is absolutely no escaping it. You are going to eventually have to work on your trauma. And trauma has an interesting way of seeping into absolutely every single aspect of your life, whether that is the relationship you have with yourself, with other people, relationships at your job, and your relationship with your future self, right? I've known quite a few people that have avoided being alone, like I have, and they began to fill that void with frivolous things, like materialistic things. Running away can look like avoidance, spending money, relationship hopping, going from one relationship to another. And I honestly think it can look like anything that you can deem unstable. Housing, finances, relationships, your job. When you run away from your trauma, you are running away from yourself, right? And when you confront trauma, you stop running and you are forced to work on yourself. So when you work on yourself, more often than not, you will need to be alone. Being alone brings clarity, self-reflection. It strengthens your relationship with Yah. And he talks to you when you are alone. When you avoid being alone with yourself, you are not only avoiding your own healing and understanding of yourself, but you're avoiding establishing a relationship with him. And he needs you to be alone so he can talk to you. He needs to know that you are able and willing to listen to when he's talking to you, right? And over the course of history, there's been hundreds of people that have spent time by themselves. You know, Yashu was one of them, right? But I am to the point in my life where I will completely cut somebody out of my life if they are unable to be by themselves. And I am willing to do that because they are showing me that they don't want to raise their vibration. They're showing me that they are not capable of listening to their own thoughts and listening to God, listening to anything. That when you're not spending time by yourself and incapable of doing it, I don't want to have any part of it, just because you know a tree by its fruits, all right? But there are many people that go from relationship to avoid being alone. But I'm here to tell you that if you believe in Yah, you are never, ever alone, right? Some of the good things that come from being alone include like better sleep. You have an increase in your productivity, your increase in creativity. Stress reduction is actually something else that happens. You have time for self-reflection, which helps you become more in tune with yourself. And as you are building a relationship with yourself, you're building a relationship with Yah as well, right? And as a trade-off, Yah increases your discernment. He increases your productivity. He helps you increase your instincts and hone in on your talents. And he also reduces your stress levels, right? He wants you to learn how to love yourself, right? And with the newfound clarity, it's supposed to help you become the person he designed you to be, right? And I avoided being alone most of my life, because most of my life I have been alone. Like, I've constantly had people come in and out of my life. And I honestly didn't know how to deal with my trauma. I've had so much happen that, like, I really didn't know where to start, right? So I relationship hopped to avoid it, right? And created more fucking problems for myself, right? Hindsight's always 2020, all right? But on my journey, I have forgotten like one vital instruction, and that's to seek Yah first and his kingdom, and everything else will be added to you, okay? But I can honestly say, me going from one relationship to another, basically avoiding being by myself and running from my problems, I can honestly admit that I was never happy. I was looking for something that only Yah would be able to give to me, right? And people often complain about feeling lonely and having no one to share their day with, having nobody to talk to. Well, I can just tell you firsthand, having kids gives you somebody to talk to. Just kidding. Causes more problems too. Just kidding. But anyways, he wants you to know that he is there and he does listen. The more you are able to trust him and talk to him, the less lonely you begin to feel, right? He talks to you through a variety of different ways, right? Through video recommendations, through other people. He talks to you through daily interactions, you know, at the gas station, at the grocery store. And he is great with answering your questions immediately, okay? But you have to practice the art of listening, okay? I think that is, besides being alone, that is one of the hardest things for people to do, is to listen, like thoroughly listen, you know, not just kind of half listen, like you're in class or something, kind of listening, but you're not, you know, distracted listening. But he just wants you to listen, okay? But I've literally been on my walk in my path since 2018, and I have been alone this entire time, right? And it's kind of like a jump to try to spend time with yourself initially. I think everybody goes through those feelings of you're scared and you don't want to be alone, right? But I can honestly say now, being 2025, I don't even know if I would want to begin a relationship with somebody, because this is the most peace and tranquility I have ever had in my entire life. And I am not sure that I would want to jeopardize that, you know, but I just wanted to drop a little bit of these tidbits just now. I am going to make this be my part 3 of my introduction video. I will continue eventually, if I can ever get my voice back, with some more material, but I'd like to welcome you all to my channel, and I hope to see you guys later. Thanks.